I would like to show you how to graph this as quickly as possible. So I have this function. I'm going to find the amplitude first. The amplitude I see is 1. The midline, I see that it's y equals 0. Now the period, again, I'm going to find by taking 2 pi and dividing it by b, or omega. Omega happens to be the 2 here, so it's going to be 2 pi divided by 2, and that's going to be just pi. So the period here is just pi. Okay, great. Next, I'm going to factor, just to get my function all set up, I'm going to factor that 2. So 2x, and then when I factor, I'll just get pi over 4. Okay, and you can distribute again to make sure that's the case. Next, I'm going to start marking my axis. But to do that, I'm going to take this period, and I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. In this case, it's nice, it's just pi over 4, which you recognize. So now I'm going to mark my axes using these, a fourth of a period. So 1/4 happens to be pi over 4, another fourth happens to be 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, and if I go to the other side, negative pi over 4, negative 2 pi over 4. Okay, that's all I'm going to mark. And since the amplitude is 1, I'm going to mark this as 1 here and negative 1 here. And again, it's equidistant from the origin. Next, now that I have that set, here is where we can think about where the cosine starts. The cosine normally starts here at the very top, right? So you see the cosine function, it's at the top, okay? And that happens at 0 radians. Sorry, 0 radians. Okay, that starts here at the top. The question now becomes, where is this top? Well, there's been here a shift, and here's my horizontal shift, and pi over 2 is my phase shift. So I notice that it's been moved 90 degrees, or in terms of a horizontal shift, pi over 4. So normally the cosine function would start here, but it's going to start pi over 4. Now, I'm subtracting pi over 4, so the question now becomes, do I go in this direction or this direction? Notice that cosine of 0 is what we want. The question becomes, what causes the 0, right? 0 radians. Well, I want 1. I want to be here at the top. And the answer is, just looking at this, the only thing that will cause a 0 is if I put pi over 4 right here. So there's pi over 4. That number must be right here. That's my starting position at pi over 4. After that, the whole purpose of dividing it by 4th is just to quickly mark the 90-degree interval. So top, midline, minimum. So here we go. Here's top, bottom, midline, minimum, midline again, and then here I'll have the top one more time. Then go in the other direction. Here at the top, midline, minimum, back to the midline. So that makes it nice and simple. Now I can just start tracing. And there you have it.